Hello and welcome to the Unlock Your Life Purpose Summit. I am your host, Lorna Moon, and today we are very blessed to have Caroline Moore as a guest. Caroline, besides being absolutely drop dead gorgeous, look at her, so gorgeous. She is a golfer and a motivational speaker. She's been featured in such publications as Forbes, ESPN, Sky Sports. And her story will truly show you that any setback you have doesn't have to hold you back, but can be the one thing that propels you forward. So Caroline, it's so great to have you today.
Thank you, Lorna. Thank you for having me on the summit. It's such like an honor to be on the summit. I'm really happy about that.
Well, it's so awesome to have you. You are amazing and such an inspiration. So I can't wait for you to share your story so everyone can know how amazing you are.
How it all started.
Yeah, so tell us how you came to find your purpose.
So it actually started a bit way back when I was forming my dreams and my purpose for my life as I thought I would live it. Mm-hmm. And this is the interesting thing. So I was having this motorway towards, this is my path, my direction. And a lot of us can relate to this clear path, or it's not so clear, but we have a sense of this is probably what I want to be doing, or this is what I enjoy in life. Mm-hmm. So I was really enjoying golf. Mm-hmm. And I never thought I would actually enjoy it, but I did, because I progressed on the golf course. My dad tricked me to the golf course with ice cream.
Your dad tricked you with ice cream.
I did. I was like, I want to play a sport with you and your sister, and they love ice cream, so why not offer that? So we just came straight to the course. It's a really funny story how it started, because it started really with like negotiation with ice cream. And then as progress started to happen, and I really felt that I was developing on the golf course, it became a fun game. Mm-hmm. And later on, I came to realize that golf is not only a game that tremendously challenged you, because you played over 4.5 hours out there. Yeah. You have to build up patience. You have to be strong mentally. You have to have a plan. You practice on so many different shots, because you can be in high grass and low grass. And for all golfers out there, you can be in sand and you can be in the woods. It's so many different lies. And whatever lie you end up with, no matter if it's an easy one or a tough one, you got to deal with it. And there's just so many parallels to how we deal with life. So even if we're having a light day or if we're having a tough day, it's still the importance in showing up to what's there and making the best out of it, and playing with what you got, making decisions with what you got, really using like your whole knowledge and intelligence in every moment, because we all have so much available to us. But sometimes we forget that. And that's why I think it's so beautiful that you really pull this summit together, because speaking about our purpose and so on brings our awareness back to, okay, what is important for me? What do I want to do? And we get reminded of things that we maybe forgot in the past, which is so beautiful that we bring it out in these times in our daily life as well. So thank you for doing that again.
Oh, yeah. Well, you talked about golf being such a, parallel for life. Like, I've never been a good golfer, but I did take lessons and I did try to play, and I did play, but it also shows that if you focus on what you don't want, that's where you're going to go. Because I would get really distracted, like, oh my God, there's a water thing. I don't want to get that. Let me just make sure I'm hitting over here. And what happens? It went in the water. Yeah. Because I couldn't stop thinking about that water and where I didn't want to go. But that's where my brain was, right?
Exactly. And it's in there then, in your brain. And it's like the ball has a magnetic field and it's just drawn to the water. And you're like, what happened?
You're like, but that's where I said I didn't want to go. But your brain was going, that water was in your mind.
Exactly. And I find that to be very, very true in daily situations too, because it's really, okay, we bring our energy, our focus in a certain direction of what we don't want. But as our whole energy is on that field, it's very hard to manifest the opposite, not even focusing on the opposite.
Yes.
So it's really like a great a great metaphor for how our mind and focus really is working, and also our subconscious mind, because I believe that the subconscious mind, and it's told in so many books and by so many professors and teachers out in the world, it works for us. It tries to manifest everything that we want. It tries to work for us,
Mm-hmm.
but focusing on what we don't want is confusing them because it's trying to manifest that.
Yeah, it's
So
trying to give you what you want, but it doesn't know that that's because you're thinking about it. It thinks that's what you want, but it doesn't know don't want. It only knows that, right?
that we go in that direction. Exactly. So what I'm so passionate about in what I do today is really bringing that awareness of, okay, what do you want? What do you want to create? Or what are the things that you want to avoid in life, but then instead create for you?
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere when I was in my mid-teenage time, I really started to ask myself the question of, oh, what do I want? What do I want to create for myself? And as golf was there really present for me, I started to have this dream and the vision of, I'm going to be a professional golfer. I'm going to play with the best in the world. I'm going to travel to places I've never seen. And I started to really think about myself doing all those things, trying to like visualize that, fantasize about that future.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually it became very attractive because it's something that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that really helped through all the tough moments, because as in golf and as in a lot of situations, there were many more tough moments than wins. I mean, you are
Mm-hmm.
going to lose more times than you win. And when you want to create something in life, sometimes you feel like, okay, I'm trying to create this, but I'm getting all of those rejections. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
about the rejections, but actually like pushing through with what you want, actually reaching that win that is maybe at 1 of a 10 or 1 of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And really connecting to, okay, this is important to me, this gives me energy, this is what I want to do. So those pictures really pulled me through all of those tough moments on the golf course too. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, when you had to go out there and it was raining and it was really cold, and you know that you had 5 hours outside of practice in front of you, but just get through it.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually I got my PGA license and I became a golf professional. Yay! And it was about for a minute of success before things really started to shake and happen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because just 1 month after, I survived an earthquake in New Zealand.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was a moment in my life where I was nearly like certain that I wouldn't make it, because the building we were in was one of 3 not being completely damaged by the earthquake. So I
Wow.
was there with, yeah. So I was there with my little sister,
Mm-hmm.
and sitting in that lunch restaurant, watching out on the street, all the buildings just falling apart, everything just crashing into pieces. We obviously were running for our lives out from there. It was like in an action movie. And I fully didn't understand, because growing up in Sweden, we don't have earthquakes. I had no idea what that was, what that felt like. What do you do? So we were just running in panic, and that kind of fear that I experienced then brought me to a perspective of life, because the earthquake was only for 15 seconds long, but it brought me this perspective of time, that whatever I put my energy on, whatever I put my focus on, whatever I decide to do, I want to be conscious about my time in life. So my time in doing things, that I don't spend it with things that I don't want, that I don't spend it with people that drain my energy. And it started to completely reshape the way that I lived life, actually, this earthquake, because it was so close. And I'm so thankful for all the people that was there and supporting everybody that were in this such a dramatic situation. I didn't think that so much love could be present in such a dramatic situation as that was.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really dramatic. But then coming home to Sweden, there was a new earthquake coming again because then I was diagnosed with a cancer diagnosis in my knee.
Wow.
And this cancer, yeah. So it was kind of like 2 earthquakes at the same time. And this cancer diagnosis could not be treated with chemotherapy or radiation. It could only be treated with an amputation above the knee.
Wow.
Yeah. So you can think that these pictures that I just previously talked about, they were just crushed into pieces. There was nothing left that I thought, okay, it's not nothing left to live for anymore. And there was this moment of hitting rock bottom, and I've really heard of it. Like, you hear about these things, you maybe read about it in a magazine, but I thought, oh, it will never happen to me. And you flip the page and you move on with your life. But suddenly this huge bomb was just there. And I spoke a bit about it in the beginning, that whatever light that you get, tough or light, it's showing up and dealing with it at the time that is the most crucial and most important. And sometimes like looking for the right people is the key, bringing out everything that you got in your luggage that you're like every day carrying, and all the experiences that you have, just bringing that up front and see, what can I do in that moment? How can I get myself out of there? That became essentially my key for dealing with that situation and finding my life purpose.
Wow. So was that a rare thing, this cancer that they told you?
So they said, there's like so many different types of cancer. It's like 100 different types. But this specific cancer type could not be treated with chemo or radiation. In Sweden, there is a very, very low percentage of people getting exactly that type. So for Sweden, it was quite rare. I was also told that it was not so much research made on that cancer type, and that it usually affects older people, older men in their 80s.
And you're like, how did I get this card?
Yeah, it's really like, kind of winning on the lottery, but in the opposite way. It was like, what are the chances? And I was really met in this moment with those thoughts of, okay, but I'm living healthy. I am practicing so much. I'm taking care of my sleep. I am so dedicated. I am so committed to my goals. And why me? And it's not about that it should be towards anybody else, but why does that happen to me? And I think really that the key for me to move on was not to get stuck in that place. Because I understood that why me does not have an answer. And if it has an answer, I could come up with an answer, but it would not be enriching, and it would lead me straight through victim role and pulling the carpet like over me and bury myself in those worries, because the answer won't lead me anywhere. It wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I got help from people, like realizing, okay, there is actually no answer to that question. So I have to turn my focus around to, okay, what can I do? What can I influence in that moment? So I cannot influence that the cancer is in my knee. I cannot influence that there is a world pandemic going on right now. I cannot influence that I just took that decision that didn't become so good, but what can I influence right now? And it was a bit like this focus going, like turning from being only external out on the things outside of me towards the internal things. And I don't know if you think of a moment in your life that has been like this tremendous good decision that you have made, like a great decision. where were you focusing in that moment? Were you focusing on the things that you couldn't influence or the things that you could influence?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you focus? Did you focus outside of yourself, on the weather, on what everybody else is doing, or did you focus on what you could influence?
Yeah.
And it's just a simple thing, right? It's really simple. It's not rocket science, but
No,
it's a huge difference.
that's a huge difference, a simple pivot from why me, why is this happening to me, which is totally victim. You're looking for someone to blame or something to blame, right? To,
Yeah,
okay, this thing is here. I can't why me out of it, right? So what can I do now? What
what
can I
can
influence now to move forward?
exactly? Yeah, it's such a powerful way of looking at any situation, really.
Mm-hmm.
And when I took that decision, because I see it as a decision,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was really, it really opened myself up to, okay, I want to live life. Like, that's what I want to do. I love living life. I have so much joy, passion. I am so excited about creating things that make me grow, make me develop, make me contribute. I just love like relationships, all those things, and I want to have that.
Mm-hmm.
And that decision of living became then easier to actually fall or land in an acceptance. Okay, this is what I'm having in front of me. My doctor gave me 3 weeks to prepare for the surgery, and I don't know how things are going to work out in the end. Like, I don't know how to play golf again on one leg. I don't know how to ride on a bike. I don't know how to, walk in high heels or
Yeah.
do anything of that. I have
Yeah.
no clue. I don't even know how it is to walk into a shoe shop and buying shoes when you have one leg. Like, how's
Yeah.
that going to be? But I was not focusing on potential things that could be or could not be,
Mm-hmm.
but just leaving that door open and being curious and being in a state of curiosity is really like tapping in. And I usually talk about that in my speeches,
Mm-hmm.
tapping into this child in you. Because
Mm.
if you watch a child, and it's like the child going out in a pool, let's say, and it says like, I'm swimming and there are dolphins all around me, and the
Yeah.
child starts to act like, okay, I'm swimming with dolphins. And the thing is that what you see when you look at it is like, okay, it's a pool, it's a child in a pool playing, but what the child sees is a completely different story. This child is in an ocean, like playing around with hundreds of dolphins, and it's just being this playful. And I'm not saying that you should live in a fantasy world, but actually allowing yourself to be curious on what can you create. Think if that was possible. Let me try. Let's see what this is going to be. And this curiosity and this playfulness was really something that became a resource for me and everybody that was around me, because a change on this world pandemic that we are in right now does not only affect like one person, it affects all of us.
Yeah.
And we can all contribute in different way and help each other out with our different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
But the center of being curious and let's see how to do this, and the curiosity was really the core for me to find new answers, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense.
Oh, that's great.
That's like, yeah, finding new answers and curiosity. So instead of saying, I can never play golf again, there's no golfers with one leg. This is like, well, how can I do this? And how can I make this fun? And like, people are going to be checking me out. I mean, I'm going to be swinging and they're going to, how does she do that? We want to go see what she's doing. Right. And like,
Exactly. And just experience that, something that you never thought about, but it's 66 different muscles under your foot. And I didn't even know about that before I was one leg. But when I was there on the golf course with one leg, essentially, I realized that because I got a lot of cramps and it hurt so much.
Foot cramps. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And I didn't even think that I had a muscle under my like big toe that I needed to practice for balance, but
Mm-hmm.
it was there. And just like waking up to these new things that was there all the time was like a completely new dimension also for me of experiencing more of how is my experience right now where I live, and how can I enrich my situation right now that it becomes better for me, or in like more energized, or more motivation for me, because it
Mm-hmm.
is always there. It's just a matter of where do I place my focus, and how can I influence myself that I can find new answers in this way.
Wow, that's so powerful. That is so powerful.
It's amazing. What thoughts are waking for you right now when
Oh,
you hear
just,
that?
the curiosity and the playfulness and and when you talked about the kids swimming, and then you see a kid in the pool, and to them, they're swimming with all these dolphins, and the dolphins are probably talking to them and telling them little secrets and things, that being in that place, and like you said, not fantasy land, but being in that place opens your mind up to seeing other possibilities. And, you could have
Exactly.
said, oh, I can never play golf again. But instead, you said you were like the kid with the dolphin. How can I play golf with one leg? How can I do this? What can I do with my life now? I want to live this. What can I make? How can I make the most of it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Not what
And
can I
it's
miss out on? What can I do?
yeah,
Right?
exactly. What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not what can I not do? What can I do?
Exactly. And it's really like, okay, if I think that I should have two legs
Hmm.
right now, I have a huge problem
Yeah.
because that's not the case.
Yeah.
But if I can somehow see both the beauty, the fun things, the great things about having one leg, and I know that this might sound really strange to a lot of people being able to say that, but it's about flipping your mindset around and see, okay, what's the great things in this? What's the gift? I use this golden question. I talk about that all the time. If life's happening for you, what's the gift right now?
Hmm.
And that was really not only the survival strategy that I used for getting through this, because it was so much pain, it was so much fear, but I had to build courage and do it anyway. I remember like walking to the hospital one last time, on two legs, knowing that when I come out of that hospital, I'm going to have one leg. It was such a huge, tremendous moment, and it was full of being scared and having
Hmm.
fear for how things were going to turn out, and the pain that I was going to face because I had no clue. But I had to show up and build courage and do it anyway. And how can I then feel calm and ready and excited for something new when I have this fear? And to me, the answer was mental training. For
Hmm.
me, the answer was actually building up new pictures, building up new attractive future. You
Yeah.
never know, are you going to end up exactly there where you want, but you have a path, you have a direction. And
Hmm.
just as you have this direction and you have this path, and you connect to that on an emotional level, not just think it, but actually connect to it and feel how
Hmm.
important that is, how grounded, connected you are, how that excites you. That became my motivation for continuing and to be able to be courageful in the midst of the most scary situation in my life. That was
Wow.
really the key.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
And so people sitting here listening, watching this, and during this corona time, maybe think, well, I can't go on the vacation I want to go on, or I lost my job, and now what? And it's like, now what is, you can do lots of cool things that you don't have that job that is tying you down, right? Now there's something new for you. Instead of thinking like,
Yes.
oh, looking at something spilled on the floor and being sad that it's gone. You can look at what else is still around you, right?
What else is there? Just the fact being able to carry a water glass from one room to the other, you have like a great foundation to build on.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that you can look up and you have walls around me, it's like great foundation that you can build on. So
Mm-hmm.
really pay attention to what you got instead of what you don't got. And I have been talking to a lot of people during this time as well, and it seems like so many people have started to realize, okay, what does this time right now actually mean for me?
Mm-hmm.
And it really is a huge difference if we see it as a loss or something really, really terrible in our life, or if we see it as a new chance, a place to breathe, a place to create something new, a place to really tap into what do I really want. No matter how tough the situation is right now, we can always find something which is a gift or a teaching or where we can build on. And it doesn't have to be those momentum, like big things that we have to do directly, but start with the small steps. I remember after the surgery, I was only capable of actually hitting 5 shots on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
It was only 5 balls, and I was used to hitting 500 balls in a day. So it was a huge difference of what I could do. And maybe that you feel you experience that gap.
Mm-hmm.
And if you focus on the loss, then it's going to be hard. But if you focus on, okay, I could actually hit 5 shots. It's amazing.
If I can build on that, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. And tomorrow maybe I can do 6, and maybe I can do 7 after that. And just I talk about energy as building brick, like a brick house. You put them on top of each other, and you have to build a great foundation in order for the house to stand. Otherwise, it's going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those small bricks, because a brick house is small bricks, and it's a lot of them. It's not just one huge one,
Yes.
but it's different parts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like the great things that we sometimes forget. But when we really see that, we have so much energy. We have so many great things there for us at this exact moment.
Wow. Wow, that's so powerful. That is so powerful. Oh my gosh. I'm just like, I got like chills. That's so
Oh, that's
powerful.
amazing. I love that. Chills is good.
I mean, it makes me question. I mean, I've definitely stepped outside of my comfort zone in this time. And even just doing the summit was something that I was like, didn't think I could ever do. So just doing that, but you've even inspired me for more. It's like, what things have I been thinking that I can't do because of whatever made up reason in my head?
That is just amazing that you say that. What you can build on after the summit.
Yeah, what it can build on after the summit. What have I thought? Oh, I can't do that because I'm not whatever,
Exactly.
Hey,
It's amazing.
It can build on anything. I mean, anything that seems impossible, and you start it and then you realize it's possible, and then it's like, what can you do after that?
Exactly. And it becomes your new truth.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you start to imagining it and you feed it with energy and thought, this new realization or this new visualization that you have, this idea, this belief, and you feed it with a lot of energy, and it becomes your truth. And that is really true for me too, going through this transformation, because from the beginning, getting the diagnosis, I thought this would be the end of my life. I couldn't do anything. Life is over. I can't, I better give up. But now, sitting here today, saying that, okay, this was actually one of the best things that happened to me. I am so happy in my life, even being one-legged, if you may. And I found out so many possibilities about that, like half-price foot care, or
you can reflexology massage for half price.
It's amazing.
You can go to the shoe store and they have like the mismatched shoe size. You're like, oh, perfect. Exactly. I only need one.
I only need one.
I'm good.
I catch the samples.
Yes, do the sample sale.
No, but I'm sure that I wouldn't have been able to see the wins, to see the possibilities, if I wouldn't have fed or even tried to imagine this life to be a good life. So if you find yourself in a tough moment right now and everything just seems black, and you just start to form a new thought of what could be like a great thing, what do I want to create, what's important to me, what gives me energy, and you start to really pay attention and focus on that new thought, that new picture, then you will start to actually make that a truth. And that is so powerful, because you get the emotional connection to that as well. Because when you start to feed it, it becomes something that it becomes a reality, and you start to attract the people that goes in alignment to this. Because
Mhm.
because you're feeding this picture. You are focusing on that. You come
Yes.
into situations where you can encounter that what you want to create, and that is just magic.
Wow. Oh, that's so amazing. Wow, Caroline, you are just like such an inspiration in so many ways. It's
You are
incredible.
amazing.
It's
Thanks.
incredible. Wow. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing your story and sharing your wisdom.
You're
Now,
welcome. It was an honor to be part of this. I loved it.
now you have something for the audience, right, that they can take advantage of?
Yes, so I have something called Become a Mental Champion. So
Mm.
it's a workbook that is accessible through my website on carolinemohr.eu, and more with MOHR.
I
And
am
there
going
when
to
you,
be a button right below this video and it will
oh,
take you directly to it. So you don't have
oh,
to
so
worry
it's
about if you mess up
amazing.
the spelling. I got you.
That's amazing. You got me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's available there. You sign up in pop-up form, you sign up and you get it instantly. And you
And
can work on your mental strength.
and that's something that we all need right now, and we all need every day, like, but definitely during this coronavirus time. And if you've been sitting there going, wow, poor me, I've got this, I've got that, I can't do this, I can't do that, it's time to mental champion up and find out what you can do, right?
Yeah, exchange those limiting beliefs to
Mm-hmm.
something more enriching.
Awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Caroline, for being our guest. You're just amazing.
thank you too. Was a great honor.